Thank you for joining us on this amazing day where we have, and let me go ahead and spotlight, Jerod Evans and Nicole Castillo and myself, Carlos Edery. There you go. On today's Regent Seven Seas consumer event. So today we're gonna spend some time with Jerod and Nicole, who I'm gonna introduce formally in just a minute. And it'll be an opportunity for us to chat. For those that haven't joined one of our events before, know that the idea of this event is we do something a little bit different than many other consumer events. We don't do this in a webinar format. So this is not about us doing all the talking, although I'll be asking a lot of questions and Jerod and Nicole are going to be answering. The idea is to make this very dynamic and to allow enough time at the end for you guys to ask questions and obviously get answers directly from the executives at Regent Seven Seas. So it's a unique opportunity. We see Nicole all the time. We see Jerod a couple of times a year. And I'm so happy that we have him today for a good little bit over an hour, hopefully today, to go over all this juicy information about Regent Seven Seas, the grandeur, and some of the new programs. So let's see. Let me do some introductions first, and then we'll do some housekeeping, and then we'll do some questions. So first of all, I want to formally introduce Nicole Castillo. She is the regional director of sales for the Florida region for Regent Seven Seas. Did I get that right?
You're close enough. Yes, you got it. Hello, everyone. Wonderful to see some familiar faces and some new faces, and to be here with all of you and sharing some exciting information.
Amazing. And we had Jerod Evans, and he is the senior director for Regent Seven Seas. Now, can you give me the full title, Jerod?
Senior Director of Sales, yes.
Okay.
Strategic Partnership. So yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Carlos. I appreciate it, and it's nice to meet all of you. So looking forward to the next hour of wonderful information to share about Regent Seven Seas.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And I am Carlos Edery, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Luxury Cruise Connections. And also with me today, we have several of our Luxury Cruise Connections advisors and team members who joined today with a couple of purposes. One of them to interact with you guys as we go through the event, and many of you guys have dealt with many of our advisors that are joining us today, so you can see their faces, you can say hello, you can ask questions, and also obviously to hear the latest from Nicole and Jerod as well. So, and Denise over here. Denise, where did you go? Denise, I never spotlight Denise. Let me do this for a second. Just spotlight Denise. So this beautiful young lady here on the screen, she is our product and marketing. There you go. The reason why I hesitated there for a second is because we just changed her title a little bit. We're in that transition, as she is now in charge of handling our relationships with all of the cruise lines, all of our cruise line partners. And Denise co-hosts this event with me. She helps me in the back end here. So Denise, thank you so much for all you do. And I want to get started with some housekeeping items. And as we do that, I'm going to push a poll. So have you sailed with Regent Seven Seas before? So I know Warren has, of course, he's on it right now. But I want to know what percentage of you guys have. That way, it also helps us kind of cater the conversation enough for everybody, so that everybody gets to understand a little bit of everything. And there is a chat box at the bottom of the screen. Lisa sent a message a few minutes ago. Lisa, don't worry if you missed anything. We're recording this conversation, so you can watch it. You can rewatch whatever you missed later, and you're gonna get a link with this conversation, with this event, or a recording of this event, tomorrow or the day after, both with the information about obviously the event, the recording of the event, some promotions, some additional information that always we want to send, like kind of product information we want to send together with this email. I'm just typing hello, and that little box at the bottom of your screen, that's where I would expect you to type some questions whenever you have anything you want to ask. So let us know. And then at the end of the event, we're going to go through every single one of those questions and make sure we ask all of them. Interestingly, we have 53% of you have not sailed with Regent before. I thought that percentage was lower, but I'm glad to see that we have 53% of you that actually have never sailed with Regent before, because you're going to find today's information very, very interesting. And for that 47% that you have, we promise we'll make it interesting as well. So we won't bore you with details you might already know. Good. And then the other question that I want to ask for you guys that are in today's event is, have you ever done business with Luxury Cruise Connections before? So those that have been in our events before, you've seen us do this before. We want to know who's in our audience, understand who we're talking to. And we obviously we love the opportunity to interact with our existing guests, and we also love the opportunity to interact with those that have not had an opportunity to know us, and can learn a little bit about Luxury Cruise Connections as a cruise agency, and our relationship with Regent, and how this relationship makes sense, and hopefully an opportunity for us to also get to know us and meet at one point and do business. Interestingly enough, 52% of you have not done business with Luxury Cruise Connections yet. So that's a great opportunity as well. So thank you for joining us for sure. Looking forward to getting to know you. And as we get started, I want to kind of start this conversation by letting everybody know why we invited Regent today.
What's that?
We have had a relationship with Regent for a long, long time. To put this in perspective, Luxury Cruise Connections has been in business for over 12 years as a brand, and over 30 years, or actually 35 years, as a company, as we come from the Forest Travel family. And I think that we've done business with Regent since the beginning of its existence, but our relationship has grown tremendously, especially in the last, I'm going to say 6-7 years, where kind of our numbers basically exploded with Regent as we developed that Luxury Cruise Connections brand and focused more and more in luxury cruises. And the reason why we do this is because we very much believe in our partnership and believe in the Regent brand, because every time we put a client on board one of those ships, they come back not only thanking us for introducing them to the brand, but also wanting to rebook and book more and go again and again and for friends. And that makes our life easy. And so that's why we love Regent so much. And our relationship has been, I mean, incredible. I mean, I speak with Nicole, and Denise speaks with Nicole multiple times a week. Nicole, how do you feel about this relationship?
No, I mean, you guys know how I feel, but I guess everybody in the audience does. And I mean, I love working with each and every one of you from all levels. We have a wonderful relationship. We've had it from the beginning, and it's been a joy to truly see your business grow. Not only because you have wonderful clients, but just because of the partnership and your, and I think we work wonderful together. For all of you on the call today, I can vouch there's no better advocate than Luxury Cruise Connections, because I always hear about it. If there's something that needs to be reviewed further, I know that they're always advocating on your behalf, and it's a joy working with all of you. It really is.
Thank you for the endorsement. And the truth is that the way we do business is on a very personalized level, right? We build relationship with our clients. We get to know our clients. We like to say that as much as we are experts at the product, we're experts at the client, right? We get to know the client. We get to know what they like and what they don't like, and those personal relationships, which become friendships, really real friendships, it really allow us to deliver an experience when it comes to cruising that you wouldn't get if you're dealing with a call center, right? So I guess that's why that translates into us advocating so heavily for our clients, because we know they're our friends. That's how we feel it. And so I want to get started with the with the juicy part of our conversation and kind of really start talking about Regent. So for that half part of the audience that hasn't been on Regent before, can we give Jerod, Nicole, can we give them an overview of Regent? What do you guys stand for as a brand? What is Regent as a company? Can we give our audience some overview on this? Jerod.
Sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, Regent and Carlos, first of all, again, thank you for putting this together. It's fantastic. And kind of to your point, how long you've been in business, right? Regent has been delivering this unrivaled experience for over 30 years now. I've personally been with the company for 20 of those 30 years. So it's been fantastic to see how we've continued to evolve just as a brand overall, right? So, I mean, simply put, for Regent itself, it's truly about delivering that unrivaled experience. And what that means, there's so much out there in regards to luxury cruising and ultra luxury cruising and what it is. And honestly, for Regent, it's beyond just being the most all-inclusive luxury cruise line. At the end of the day, it's the DNA on board, right? It's the crew that really bring it home. They provide that intimate, personalized service and experiences that we deliver on board our ships. And then, of course, when you talk about the ships themselves, right, it's all suites, 97% balcony throughout the fleet, and we're just continuing to evolve and grow as an organization as times change, right? We need to continue to elevate and set that bar that much higher. So with having everything included, delivering the personalized service and delivering those intimate experiences, whether it's on board or ashore, are truly some of the key differentiators for our brand overall.
Let's give let's give our audience some a little bit more of an understanding of what Regent is. So for those that, and let me just kind of add a little bit here. For those that haven't been on board Regent, you gotta kind of position Regent as one of the most luxurious, if not the most luxurious. I'm gonna let Jerod expand on this. Cruise lines at sea. I mean, well, that just was a big redundancy. The most luxurious cruise lines. The ships are going to be offering, like Jerod was saying, all-inclusive experience, right? From your meals, your drinks, your excursions, and we're going to talk more about that later. But think of the experience as high end as it can get when it comes to cruising. With incredible space to guest ratio, crew to guest ratio, an incredible commitment to cuisine, and that luxurious, elegant experience. Did I get that right?
Yeah, absolutely. You hit it right on the head.
And then Regent is much more than just the experience on board. And I know we're going to expand more on this, especially as we get to talk more about the grandeur. But Regent is more than just that experience on board. It had, immersive exploration is one of your topics of conversation nowadays, right? Because when it comes to luxury cruising, you can't just deliver nice ships; you have to deliver an entire experience. Can we talk about immersive exploration and your destinations and your offering on that end?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, going to over 500 different ports of call and taking these vessels, being that we're smaller size ship, 55,000 gross tons or less, we're able to get into those more intimate niche type ports. We also, know that onshore experience is certainly what you're looking for when picking your next vacation, right? So not only getting into these ports, but also allowing more time in these ports to deliver that unlimited shore excursion program that we offer. Aside from that, we kind of took it to another level when you start talking about immersive explorations as our pillar, right? The intimate experience that you also have on board, we want you to have on shore. So we have in several ports of call what we call our Regent small group tours, which is touring with 16 guests or less. To create, again, that more intimate type experience on shore. and through our free unlimited shore excursion program. And then there's different variations and levels. We continue to add more overnights into our ports or into our itineraries and some of these special ports of call to really allow you to spend more time ashore, and then also while you're on board. So just bringing that all together full circle is one of our main focus, and which is why one of our top pillars in the brand messaging overall.
And to add some more perspective, who would you say the Regent client is? Except from Warren, of course, that we see his on board.
Yeah.
Who is the Regent client? What's your target market?
So, I mean, really, it kind of varies, right? It's changing, and as we continue to evolve as a brand, we are bringing in younger clientele. There's still our traditional past guests that are out there, but again, it's just anyone that's looking for experiences, that's looking to, not be nickel and dime, understands the value proposition of cruising, and our focus is to target those first time guests and again just maintain those amazing past guests that we have out there to continue and come back. And like we always say, the moment that they step on board, our staff, when they're greeting them with that white glove service upon embarkation, they recognize those guests that have traveled with us. And the first thing we say is welcome home. And that's truly what it is. It's about a family, and it's about making everyone feel special, whether they've sailed or it's their first time cruising. We want them to continue to come back, and that's why we deliver such a high past guest ratio. And again, it's not only just for what we're doing on board, but it's the service that your wonderful advisors are doing there that bring them and continue to come back to Regent Seven Seas.
And Regent Seven Seas, obviously as a brand, delivers one of the most inclusive cruise vacation experiences. You call it every luxury included. Can we recap real quick what is included on a typical Regent vacation?
I guess it's easier to say what's not included might be the easiest way. But truly from top to bottom, it's ultimately bringing it all together from the moment that they leave their house for their vacation, right? So it's the providing that business class airfare that's included if you're going over across the pond, right? It's the shore excursions that we talked about. It's specialty dining. It's even to valet laundry service now as an added inclusion. Wi-Fi on board. To your point earlier about beverages, right? Those are all inclusive. It's simply just everything included. The only thing that's not included, of course, is your gambling habit in the casino. We won't pay for that. And then, of course, any spa treatments that you want to arrange. And honestly, it's everything that the big ships have, just in a smaller scale and all inclusive. So,
all right. So gratuities, transfers between the airport and the ship, included with your airfare as well. The concept of unlimited shore excursions. There's cruise lines that offer excursions included, but unlimited shore excursions. Obviously, there are, like you said, small group and some specific optional upgrades to the excursions. But your drinks, your meals, your gratuities, like literally is one of those cruise lines where you can you get to your suite, you put your wallet away. You don't even have to. You basically have to carry your card just to make sure you can get in and out your room, but you don't have to pay for almost anything. So that's very special. I've experienced it myself a couple of times. Sorry, and I can say that it truly feels like day and night for many other cruise lines that just nickel and dime you for basically everything. So those that have been on board Regent can probably attest to this, right? It just feels that level of inclusiveness that makes that experience that much more luxurious. And so let's recap destinations that you guys visit. Give us an overview of what where could we sail on Regent?
You want me?
Yeah, go ahead and take this one.
You want me to take this one?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we go all over the world, as I like to say. It's just a matter of where you all want to go. We go all over Europe, Caribbean, Alaska, South America, Asia. Including world cruises. We do one world cruise a year. So, and I know you have some clients that have sailed on our world cruises. And we're typically at these destinations during what we say, on season, so in Alaska, for example, we start going into Alaska as early as May and we're there until early September. Our Asia itineraries, we like to tie it, for example, the round trip Japan itinerary during cherry blossom season. So we really truly go all over the world. And again, it's just a matter of where all of you would like to go.
Yeah, literally. From Africa to South Pacific to South America to Northern Europe. I guess.
And our ships, I think it's also important to note that a lot of folks will ask, you don't see a lot of round trip, Venice, for example, for us, or round trip destinations, because our ships they're constantly repositioning all over the world. So that's the beauty of, for example, having air included for these destinations, because, an itinerary might be Rome to Venice. So the value of having that airfare and business class air at that included is huge when you're not going round trip from a particular port.
Correct. And this is the fleet, right? I was I guess I've been honored to have joined the inaugural for both the Splendor and the Grandeur. And I have to say, these two ships are just spectacular. I mean, just wow, right? They're just jaw-dropping, gorgeous from the moment you step in. But can you guys talk to us about this fleet and a little bit of what's going on with it, and what can we expect from these different ships?
Jerod, I'll chime in on this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think the best way to just kind of give you an overview of this slide is you have the original fleet, and then you have the newer fleet. So on the right side of the screen, you have the Mariner, the Navigator, and the Voyager. As Jerod mentioned, all suite accommodations. The Navigator being our most intimate size ship with no more than 470 guests, and then the Mariner and the Voyager being 700 guest vessels. And then you have our newer class ships, which are the Explorer class ships. You have the Explorer, Splendor, and now the Grandeur. Keep in mind that when you look at the Voyager, was built back in 2004, I believe, and then the Explorer was built in 2016. So while there is a gap between the original ships and the newer class ships, we have had our ships renovated, so there's consistency among the brand across the board. So an example comes to mind: the Navigator just came out of dry dock, and there's certain areas of the Navigator, the library comes to mind, where it's very reminiscent of the library on the Explorer and the Splendor. So we really do have that consistency among the original and the newer class ships. And Jerod, I don't know if you wanted to add anything more to this slide.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just, again, it's when you think about when we had, what I guess you could call the traditional ships, right? And that delivering a new ship in over a decade. And when we, launched Seven Seas Explorer, that's when, just as a brand, we continue to evolve and understand what our travel advisors and what our past guests, feedback and what they were looking for in terms of their experiences, which is why you see, when we talk about intimately sized ships, right? So always sticking true with that, from 500 guests to 750. We want that, to Carlos's point earlier, when you talk about that, the space on board, the space to guests. So you talk about unrivaled space at sea. It's great, with the crew to staff guest ratios, but when you look at the space to guest ratio, I mean, it's incredible. And that's what others aren't able to deliver. And that's where another, focal point for us is to continue to be able to provide that. But these ships, again, just building them, it's just seeing everything come to life, and how we, like I always say, just evolving overall. And to your point, Carlos, Splendor, Explorer, and Grandeur now, from your recent experience on board just last month, I mean, they're phenomenal. It's just the attention to detail that goes into, designing these vessels is just top notch. And using, the designers that we have and just continuing to elevate again. Like I say, there's so much competition out there. It's just that's what we're looking for, and that's what we continue to do.
Yeah. And since we have you on the call, Jerod, I want to ask you some questions about the company in general, about Regent, and you've been talking about the evolution of the brand. Can you share some information about the progress of Regent as a company, kind of where where can we expect Regent to be in the near future? Love to learn a little bit about your occupancy levels nowadays. What's going on with post-pandemic occupancy levels, and I also want to learn about kind of the evolution and the velocity of bookings, and the effect on pricing that it has had since we came out of the pandemic. So can you share some of that with us?
Absolutely. I mean, the bookings, and the booking pace and trends, and just overall, we're very pleased with where we're at. To your point about Wave, everything's just moving really strong since the pandemic. We're at full capacity again, and it just, I think it's just the demand, it's supply and demand, right? And that's what our guests are looking for, and many of them that we saw by the recent poll, right? I was kind of surprised by that for first time guests, but it's those customers that are coming from the premium cruise lines that are, whether it's a splurge vacation or they're just want to try, and hearing about what that luxury experience is, what that all-inclusive experience is, looking to no longer be nickel and dime. I think it's continuing just to grow us, and that capacity that we continue to bring on, we're continuing to fill these ships. And again, I mean, we can't continue to build ships without, the customers coming on. So we're seeing it, and that's where you see that we can continue to roll these ships out, and just of the latest 3 overall. And then when you look at just pricing and so forth in general, what's great is, as the supply and demand comes in, we typically increase our rates usually quarterly. There's some cases, where we may have some softer sailings where we will discount those particular sailings and reduce those fares to bring up that capacity. But overall, as a brand, we're sitting really nice, and we continue to see growth in the future. Much further out bookings as well. When you start looking at the booking curve overall, guests are planning multiple trips overall, right? So you see that. Special occasions or special anniversary, milestone birthdays, anniversaries, multiple trips within the same year, and also just multi-gen family vacations as well. So it's a lot, and that's how we continue to grow, and that's how the capacity continues to increase, and it's there. So we're happy.
Your occupancy levels for 2024, are they where you want them to be? Can you share kind of where they are? What percentage of 2024 is still available to book? How much of that can you share?
Yeah, we are at where we want to be as a brand. We can't share specifics in terms of numbers, of course, because we're a publicly traded company. But overall, we are at where we want to be. 25 is set nicely. 24, the focus, of course, with geopolitical, that everything that happened in October, that kind of set us back a little bit there. So there's some space, and some holes where we need the help, and we have promotions and offers out there to drive that demand for those guests that are interested in traveling to some of those destinations. We've had to modify itineraries, changing a few things, but overall, we're sitting exactly where we want to be for 2024 capacity, and then 2025 and 26 is just shaping up just to be even better. So
good. Since you touched on
and just to kind of shed a little bit of light of that available space that we have here and there, I think when you look at from a category standpoint, those named suites, those master suites, grand suites, penthouse suites, all are doing very, very well, as they always have. So when you look at even those, I'll talk about a little bit later the promotions that we have available. A lot of them are going to be for those concierge suites, for those F2s, because that's where we're seeing the gaps. But I think it's pretty norm, especially for our market, for the ships to fill from top to bottom. So
interesting. And since you talked about some of the disruption that happened in 2023 and obviously affecting us in 24, and specifically talking about the Middle East at this point, what has been Regent action plan, and what should we expect on for those that are looking to travel to the Middle East region?
Well, I mean, the greatest thing about cruise ships, right, is the asset can be moved. So safety is the number one priority for anything that we do for, our guests and of course our crew and our vessels. So we're able to shift and kind of adjust and adapt as needed due to some of these, conflicts around the world. And we just modify those as needed and be able to put our ships to, similar destinations. Of course, you always have, that's why I booked this particular cruise. And, those are things that are out of our control as well. And again, it just goes back to safety. And we just want to be able to still provide that unrivaled experience on whatever itinerary that we do pivot to and modify those destinations.
Your 2024 season, for what you had for Israel, has been modified, correct, already?
Yes.
And 2025 hasn't been touched yet, right?
Not at this time.
Okay. And I'm sure you guys are going to wait a little bit more until you make any changes to see what happens throughout this year, right?
Correct.
Good. Okay. And I'm sure we'll hear news soon whenever they have to share. But hopefully we'll see the world kind of come to normality soon, hopefully, because the demand for that region of the world was crazy before. And I'm sure just going to come back even crazier as soon as ships are able to visit that part of the world. So thanks for sharing. And I know that you're limited in terms of what you can share because you're a publicly traded company. So I appreciate you sharing what you can. And I guess one other thing that I want to touch on before we talk about the grandeur is, the industry has changed a lot, right? I mean, the what I've seen happen in this industry in the last 3 years, it's crazy, right? A lot of new players, right? Existing players changing strategies. It's shaping in ways that for me is incredible to see, and I'm talking about the entire industry. There's some obvious new players in the luxury spectrum, and I want to ask you, and so you can share with the audience, what's the strategy like when you guys have these conversations in your strategy meetings and talk about the future of the brand? Where do you guys position Regent in the luxury cruise spectrum?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And, it's one of those things, to your point, adding additional players or into the luxury segment. But at the end of the day, we just want to continue to focus on being the number one ocean, all-inclusive luxury experience overall. We're continue to look at our inclusiveness, right? And continue to understand what our guests want overall to continue to elevate, and that's what you have to do. You have to continue to set yourself apart from those other competitors within. Everybody has their own form of luxury. Everybody has their own form of all-inclusiveness. So it's, taking that step, and you'd hear it. I'm sure you're aware of it as well, Carlos, that ultra luxury step, right? There's another level in there now, and that's where we would continue to be to raise the bar. And, we've been asked several times, with companies that are, whether they're doing river cruises or they're doing, other destinations and so forth, we want to focus all of our resources into being the best luxury ocean cruise line out there. And so that is our entire focus, is continuing to just do what we've been doing for the last 30 years and continue to make it that much stronger as we continue to grow as a company.
Interesting. So we should have any expectations of Regent expeditions or Regent river cruises or any of that, right?
Right.
Focus
Nope.
on
We're
ocean.
saying ocean cruising. Yeah.
Good.
And I just want to add, you know, when you look at over 30 years in the industry, there's a lot of trial and error that has gone into those 30 years. So when we say that we know luxury and we're continuing to understand it on an ongoing basis, that truly is important to us. So while we love to see others join this segment, I think it's wonderful, you know, healthy competition for everyone. I think we shouldn't lose sight of how challenging it can really be, you know, to this segment as far as like training the crew. There's a certain way that you train crew, you know, in this market. So I think that we've never lost sight of that. I think we've always remained, to Jerod's point, consistent. Even though there's always been that, you know, oh, river cruise market, there's a hype, or expedition cruising, there's a hype. We've never kind of bought into that. We've always stayed where we know and we know best, and I think that we've definitely benefited by staying there.
By staying focused.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I think it's about right around the time within our conversation where I want to introduce Regent Grandeur. So, you know, many of you guys have probably already heard the name. Many of you guys have already maybe even have a booking to sail on the Grandeur. But I had the opportunity to sail on the inaugural in December, as we were saying before. And I was really, really blown away by the experience and the beauty of the ship. And Jerod and Nicole were kind enough to share with me a video that I want to play for you guys, so that we can start really talking about the Grandeur.
The Regent experience is unlike any other in the industry. Tonight, we celebrate a new Regent chapter with stunning Seven Seas grandeur.
Now, this evening is not only a momentous milestone for Regent, I'm incredibly humbled to be the first female president to christen a new ship. Seven Seas Grandeur is building upon our heritage of perfection, forever elevating the pinnacle of luxury travel.
This excellence is embodied on Regent Seven Sea Grandeur's beautifully appointed spaces. This ship shines from stem to stern.
My sincere thanks to every single crew member of the Seven Seas Grandeur. You are without a doubt among the best in this industry.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Sarah Fabergé.
It is truly an honor to be serving as godmother of this magnificent ship. So now, a unique Fabergé egg created in partnership with Regent. Journey endures. Hereby christen this great ship, Seven Seas Grandeur. May God bless her and all who sail upon her.
How possibly could it get any better? Well, please welcome Kristen Chenoweth.
Amazing. When I sailed on the Splendor, I remember having the conversations about how can you top this for the next ship, and then you come up with the Grandeur, and you did it. I think you guys definitely. Oops, sorry. I think you guys definitely accomplished that for sure. And I'm so, like I said, honored to have had the opportunity. And I know that the video was very much about the inaugural ceremony itself, but we also have some pictures that I want to share. And as I go through these pictures, Jerod and Nicole, please feel free to jump in and share with the audience what is it that we're looking at here.
So this is actually, I'll start it off here, Carlos, and this here is the atrium, but this is the rendering of the atrium. So this is what we saw up until everyone was able to see the ship for the first time. And if you've sailed on our Explore or Splendor, this area might look very familiar to you. But then the next picture is what it actually looks like live. So this is a real picture, not a rendering, but again, absolutely stunning. This is the first area our guests are going to see upon embarkation. That chandelier, we actually worked with a company called Preciosa, and it really is inspired by rows of tennis bracelets. So absolutely stunning piece.
And is this if this is a rendering, I'm telling you, this is exactly how it looked like. I mean,
So yeah, that's why I wanted to. And again, the images of in real person are my pictures, are not anything professional. So unfortunately, the lighting wasn't the best. But this is actually the rendering of the main dining room, the compass rose. Absolutely stunning. But then the next image, you'll see that this is what it looks like in person. And the idea behind, the spaces on the ship were really how they transform as the day progresses. So if you look at the compass rose as an example, during the day, it's absolutely stunning with the lights, and you can look out the windows if you have a table for two by the window. But then in the evening, it transforms where those windows, for example, have glistening lights, and it gives the impression that you're dining underneath the stars. Beautiful pillared light, tree trunk pillars.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And then this is where I had breakfast every morning.
I thought I'd throw that in there because I figured you'd find that area familiar. So this is La Veranda. And on the left-hand side of the screen, I thought it'd be interesting to just, again, really show images of how much thought went into creating these spaces. So in the veranda, something new for the grandeur, you have these tables for two, but they're actually facing the window. So the idea behind that is to create a space that you and whoever you're sailing with are, by yourself in that particular space with beautiful views. And then, of course, the outdoor seating area, Carlos' favorite area in La Veranda, is the screenshot on the right. It really does not do it justice, but again, just really gives the idea of al fresco dining at a luxury boutique resort.
And then this is, it was one of my favorite places, that spa. Wow. I mean, really, really, really well done.
And I think what I want to mention about the spa, and you kind of get a glimpse of it in this image, as you walk towards the spa, it really is one of the areas of the ship where you do not feel at all like you are on a cruise ship. It almost, Carlos, wouldn't you agree, Jerod? What a grand entrance to the spa. You're walking down this beautiful long entryway, and then you see at the end the entrance of the spa, and you really feel like you're in a luxury hotel. It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, that is true. And then
Chartreuse, the specialty restaurants. Yeah, this is our French restaurant. And one thing I do just want to mention about the specialty restaurants, again, all inclusive, of course, is, and I alluded to it in the images, in each specialty restaurant, you'll have in the entrance a seating area and a bar. And again, it's a very welcoming experience for our guests. A lot of our guests will go down to their specialty restaurant reservation, maybe 30 minutes before their reservation, and have a drink at the bar. So again, all of the specialty restaurants on the Explorer class ships in general have that feature.
This is my favorite one. Guys, I want to say this. I can say this because I can be unbiased about this, but in my opinion, Prime 7 offers the best steakhouse experience you can probably have anywhere, whether it is at sea or land. The menu, the quality of the beef, the service, there is no way you can get that experience by the way, by zero money, right? Because it doesn't cost any additional money anywhere else but on board the ship. It's just it's incredible. It really is incredible. So I don't know who was telling me the story. I don't know if it was Jerod or who was telling me the story that when they came up with the idea of creating Prime 7, they went over to Frank Del Rio and said, and Frank Del Rio said, I want you to create the craziest, most incredible steakhouse you can possibly create, you know, no restrictions. And they came out with a budget that nobody thought he would approve because it was just insane, made no financial sense. And then it got approved and it created Prime 7. And I can see it, like when you're sitting there and you're seeing the quality of the steaks and you're seeing the amount of people servicing you and the just the overall experience, to me is like, you know, it's just anybody that is traveling on Regent, and you know, if you have the opportunity to go to Prime 7, you have to, is a must. Did I sell that right?
And in addition, I think to the entrees, I have to just give a little shout out to the popcorn sundae. It's a favorite of our guests, and it's a very popular dessert in Prime 7. So,
and then my second favorite is Pacific Rim. And this one you have on the Splendor, you had a big dragon sculpture at the entrance, which I thought it was beautiful. And then you come up with this, you know, cherry blossom a sculpture. It's, to me, spectacular. I didn't get a chance to try it this time around. Hopefully next time I go on, but it's my second favorite for sure. This is a Pan-Asian cuisine, right?
Pan-Asian cuisine, yeah.
Talk to us about the library. This is a rendering, but I know it looks exactly just like this.
This is, and again, the idea of the library going back to that traditional feel, lots of nooks and corners in this particular space where you can grab a book and just sit comfortably and get cozy. And again, just feel like you have this area all to yourself.
And then what about this beautiful suite? I mean, come on.
So the Regent Suite is the largest suite on the Explorer class ships. Of course, the grandeur we're speaking about. It's a 4,400 square foot accommodation, where 800 square feet of that is the veranda alone. 2 bedrooms, 2.5 bath. Again, it's actually located forward on the ship, and your view as you're looking out to the veranda is exactly what the captains, because you're directly above the bridge, is seeing. So phenomenal accommodation. And guests who book this particular accommodation, in addition to all of our inclusions, get everything from free first class air. We actually, through your travel advisor, will help curate different experiences at each port of call. There's an in-suite spa in the Regent Suite where you receive unlimited spa packages. So beautiful accommodation.
Beautiful. And then I have to say the Seven Seas, I'm sorry, the Regent Suite, this is another view from the same category. This thing that you see over here is a bar. Usually there's a coffee machine also right here, which you can't barely tell that's a coffee machine, but that's what it is, right?
Correct.
It's just
and again, very minimalistic, that bar alone. A lot of it, so very different than if you were to look at the Regent Suite on the Explorer, but still equally beautiful. And then
and then there's a deluxe suite, which is I don't know if you have this. So you can't really tell the size of the suite, but this is over 300 and something square feet, right?
about 356 square feet. And the images that we have on the deluxe suites, and also this is, by the way, the same space as a concierge suite on this particular ship. The difference is going to be the amenities that you receive it with the concierge, like the one-night free hotel. But the bed is actually facing the veranda. And this is a new design that we had introduced with the Explorer that our guests truly love. But walk-in closets, marble pointed bathrooms, so beautiful accommodation.
And something that I want to point out, you have double sink in the bathroom too, which is, for me, was important. And even on this category, right? So I like that very much. And to me, this is a very nice middle point, right? You get what is this, 400 and something square feet? Did I get that right?
So this is about 450 square feet with the penthouse suite. And again, very popular accommodation. This is the level of service for a fleet that Butler service begins. But you have those partitions, which just create a privacy factor and are conducive to someone who likes to sleep in versus an early riser. So a wonderful space.
You also have a walk-in closet, and you have just a lot more space and 2 TVs, of course. And, you know, you can, you know, if your partner wants to sleep in, you can get out and watch TV without disturbing the other person. So this is why I think it's so popular. And then this was a beautiful Fabergé egg. I mean, I saw it in person, and it's just insane. Can you talk about this partnership with Fabergé real quick?
Jerod, did you want to speak on it? I can, or so as far as like Fabergé, we're always looking as a brand to partner with brands that really make sense. And I know that Fabergé is consistent to that feel as well. And I learned that Fabergé only picks one brand to partner with every year, and Regent was selected. So this partnership, which, by the way, the godmother of the grandeur is Sarah Fabergé, which is the great granddaughter of the founder of Fabergé. But this Fabergé egg is the first Fabergé egg to ever reside at sea. It is displayed museum style in the atrium and was curated for the Regent brand specifically for the Seven Seas grandeur. And it really is quite the sight. And we're thrilled with this partnership.
What is the estimated value of it?
I-
You don't know?
I'm not sure. Is that a trick question? Do you know the value of it?
I heard it was close to $1 million.
I believe it. I believe it, but I'm not 100% sure of the value of it.
So let's say that was gossip. But this is pretty cool, and thank you for sharing this slide with us, because it kind of shed some light on why we get such great internet on board Regent. So the Mariner, where Warren is, I guess, has Starlink, right? Is that why he's able to stream in so nicely?
Exactly. We implemented the Starlink obviously for Grandeur, and then on the Mariner for the World Cruise. That was the first ship in the fleet, and obviously we will continue to implement this throughout the fleet throughout this year. But yes, that's definitely giving Warren the ability there to stream with this connectivity and the Starlink functionality. So it's truly incredible. That, I mean, even when we were on Grandeur, right, we didn't have any issues there. That was my first time on board one of our ships. I haven't been on Mariner for a little bit, but to have the capability and the functionality of Starlink, and it's pretty amazing. And I'm looking forward to implementing that across the rest of the fleet here over the next few months.
And again, along the lines of just evolving as a brand and making sure that we are fulfilling what's important to our guests. I remember years ago, people would go on a cruise to disconnect. Now people, in their travels want to connect, socially, through the internet or social media platforms. So this is just an example of listening to our guests and delivering upon what's important to them.
And you launched a new app as well. So for those that haven't sailed on for those that are going to be sailing on the Grandeur, they launched the Regent app with the Grandeur. right? And you're rolling it out to all the other ships very soon. So everybody's going to have the opportunity to have access to everything that is going on across the ship through this app, which I thought it was pretty cool. And I want to skim through, like, we have so much more to talk about, but you know, I want to allow for some time for questions and answers as well. So there is something else that that I definitely want to make sure that we don't miss talking about, which is a new concept called immersive overnights that you guys are launching this year. Can you share what these immersive overnights are? And for those that have sailed on Regent, you should know this is new, so pay attention, because I think this is pretty unique.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a concept and kind of an understanding that we're hearing, right? And trying to, you know, we have our itineraries with those port intensive itineraries, right, that are traditional, but understanding and knowing customers who are geared towards, you know, maybe they're not a cruiser and they're typically doing those land FIT type trips. We have developed some itineraries where we are doing multiple nights in particular ports. So instead of going to 8 different ports, we're now going to 4 ports and guaranteeing overnights, 1 or 2, in some cases 3 days, with 2 overnights in those particular ports. So it's kind of just that, you know, that luxury hotel at sea almost concept where you can get on and off the ship and still be able to see all the wonderful sites and destinations through our free unlimited shore excursion program, and then also specially curated shore events that we will have available on these immersive overnights and different destinations. So we're still getting ready to roll this all out, and there's more to come within the next couple days that more will be highlighted as we continue to finalize all of the arrangements in these ports. But again, it's continued to allow our guests to immerse themselves more in these wonderful ports of call, and it's just a different concept in a different format.
So talking about the evolution of the brand, right? I mean, you still offer the option for those that really want to like cover multiple stops and multiple destinations. Then there's those itineraries where you can do like every single day you have a different place. But then in my opinion, kind of to piggyback on what you were saying, Jerod, I feel that when somebody wants to go a second time, you know, what they're looking for is more time on those places that they really like. So I don't want to go through each one of these examples, but I did want to share some of the itineraries where you guys are offering, you know, I'm sorry, where you guys are offering this overnight. So like this one has 4 overnights, this one has 4 overnights, Rome, Tuscany, Barcelona, Toulon, France, Asia, 4 overnights. And this is all between 2024 and 2025. Look at this one with 2 nights in Salerno, right? Rarely ever do you get a cruise staying 2 nights at the same port, right? And 3 other overnights. This one has 6 overnights, right? Very interesting. So, you know, if you really want to get deep into Berlin, really want to get deep into Stockholm, you have the opportunity to do so on these itineraries. But I think this is a very interesting opportunity to for those that, you know, maybe you said like I've been there, done that, but okay, now let me immerse myself in these destinations. And like you said, this is just a preview of this. I'm pretty sure you guys are going to be coming up with much more of that very soon.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, whether it's you want to spend more time there and you've been to those destinations, or maybe you just never tried cruising before, it kind of caters both ways. And we think it's a great opportunity for those guests that are interested in that type of experience. And then, like you said, with additional capacity, it allows us to give different variations and change things up for what our guests are looking for. And ultimately, you know, a lot of it has to do with that immersive exploration, which is why we did these immersive overnight itineraries.
Makes sense.
I wanted to just skim through that, Carlos, but this is huge, guys. I'm so excited about these itineraries. And I think when you look at, you know, some of those itineraries, for example, overnighting in Rome, these places, it's one thing to see it during the day, but in the evening, it's a completely different experience. So I'm really, really excited about those itineraries, and we'll be sure to communicate all those details once we fine tune it. But again, I can't stress how exciting this is.
No. Looking for, I mean, that, in my opinion, for example, that's the type of itineraries that I would like the most, right? I really like when I go to some of these very exciting cities, I like to really just take it easy. Like sometimes I don't want to rush through it, right? I want to just really get to explore, and maybe one day I'll do a shore excursion, and the next day I'll just wander around by myself and get to try a restaurant or dinner, or I think that's very special. So I'm happy you guys are moving that direction, and very much looking forward to seeing more. And we just spent the last several minutes talking about how amazing Regent is, and I think this is about the time where we gotta share with our audience what's going on right now in terms of promotions for those that are looking to book another Regent cruise, or a Regent cruise if you haven't booked one before. So I do have some slides on that too. And I think this is a question directed for Nicole. Can you please share with our audience what this Upgrade Your Horizon promotion is all about?
So this is our current public promotion, where on virtually, I would say the majority of our itineraries right now, we are offering a free 2-category suite upgrade plus a 50% reduced deposit. So significant offer. Just to give you an idea, you book a Superior F2 suite, you get upgraded to a concierge suite under this promotion. So not only do you get the more space in the suite in a lot of cases, but you also get the 1-night pre-hotel and the benefits that come with the concierge suite. And then another layer to this promotion, on select dates, we are also offering an additional 20% savings. So there's a lot of Europe for 2024 that are part of this promotion. And this is actually good through the end of February.
And for sailings applicable all the way to 2025?
All the way till there's actually sailings into 2026. So it's virtual. It's the majority of our sailings are part of the 2-category upgrade promotion and 50% reduced deposit.
Good. And then is that combinable with the 5% non-refundable deposit?
So it is combinable. So this is a new offer that we, it's an evergreen offer that we just launched. And it's basically on sailings that are 180 days or more out, and you want to receive a 5% savings above and beyond the promotions that we have in place. You can take part in our non-refundable deposit offer. So basically you would put down your 15% deposit. It becomes non-refundable from the time that you put that deposit down, but in exchange, you get the 5% savings.
Okay. And then for those singles out there, and we do have several of them, constantly asking us, what about those single supplement promotions?
Yeah. So we have many sailings that we have reduced single supplements. And this is another promotion that I get excited about, because for years I had heard, what single supplement offers can you offer? So not only do we have them on a good amount of sailings, but on certain sailings, we have it as low as 0% single supplement. So pretty significant. And of course, you can reach out to your Luxury Cruise Connection at Travel Advisor for a list of those dates.
That usually drives a lot of calls when you say, anytime we say that, for some reason, our database is filled with singles. So maybe one day we'll put together a singles event. I'm sure we can fill up a ship with that. But definitely new opportunities with Regent with single fares. And on top of all of that, for those that, for the next, until February 2nd, so basically for the next 2 weeks, you guys are going to have access to an additional up to $2,000 savings. And this is, again, exclusive through Luxury Cruise Connections. This is not something that you can find anywhere else, or even direct booking through Regent Direct. For those that are attending today's event, and for those that are watching the recording within the next 2 weeks, you can also send this to your friends and family. And for those that are, that are aware of this discount, can now take advantage of up to $2,000 saving, depending on the category that you book and depending on the length of your cruise. So this is on top of every other savings opportunity that Nicole just shared with us. All right, so questions. Let's see. We have we've covered a lot, and now I want to make sure that we get to our questions. And I see a whole bunch of comments and questions in the chat. So allow me to share. Let's see. Mario, one of ours, was saying Regent Seven Seas was my first home for almost 4 years in the luxury cruise space. Not luxury cruise connections, a perfect pair. Thank you. Mario is our full-time trainer. He is with us at Luxury Cruise Connections, helps trains all of our advisors and our concierge team to make sure that we're delivering amazing service. Warren is asking, why economy air for domestic flights when we get business air internationally? That's a good question. Jerod?
It has to do with just our contracts and just limitations specific in first class on domestic flights. So it's been looked at before, and we try to, in some cases, even when you're connecting before you travel internationally, we'll try to do first on the domestic flight, but it has to do a lot with our contracts and just limitations that we're up against.
I think what Regent realized a long time ago is that what people really care the most for is those long flights, those flights that are more than 5 hours, right? We're talking about, when you're traveling from anywhere in the United States to Europe or anywhere in the United States to Asia, right? Those are like where people are okay with that. But then also, it doesn't mean that you never get business class. Sometimes you do get the business class, just you don't guarantee business class on those domestic portions, which I guess is understandable. That said, very often Regent comes up with first class promotions where you then offer first class airfare even on those domestic flights. So, if that's what you're looking for, be on the lookout for those promotions, and when they come up, you can take advantage of them. And as Mario posted on the chat, at Luxury Cruise Connections, we can help you customize that, right? And if Regent's airfare offering is not what you're looking for, we can always get a credit for it and then add custom air from us if that's what you're looking for. So for sure. And Warren is telling us he's in the World Cruise on the Mariner, not forget the included wine, which is a big thing for sure, because you just don't get any included wine. You get amazing wine included, which is important to mention. And Warren, did you have a good experience at Prime 7 last night? If you're still,
Yep. I know he tried the popcorn sundae, he said. I saw his note on that.
No, I had the key lime pie, and it was excellent.
Good.
I like their key lime pie.
Did I overhype the experience of Prime 7, or did I, was I on point? Tell me the truth.
I live in San Antonio.
Okay.
Don't talk to me about steak.
Okay. Okay, so you have a very high bar. But
it's good. But it is good.
Good. All right. And Chip is saying, how many guests on the ship? Hope you continue to keep your ships below 700. Sorry, joined the middle late. Can we recap on that real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. The ships themselves, right? Like, so Seven Seas Grandeur and the Explorer class ships themselves at 700 and little less than 750 guests, right? And we figure that's our sweet spot right there. That 700, 750, of course, you have the Navigator, which was the first ship that we launched, which is 490 guests. So we'll continue to stay right around that 700, 750 range. We feel that that's best to continue to deliver that space to guest ratio and crew to guest ratio overall. So
good. And then Alan Morgenstern was asking, will the overnights be staying on the ship, or will you be staying on land? And Alan, not to be confused with the overland experiences, right?
For those immersive sailings, that's actually part of the reason we're waiting to just roll that out. There will be some opportunity, specifically on ports that we're overnighting 2 nights, where it will be like an overland opportunity as well.
Okay, good.
We've done several both ways. You know, where we've stayed 2 or 3 nights at a hotel. We did Navigator. Mariner, Marina was Mariner, whichever it is. The very first one to Amazon that we did from Rio through the Amazon to Miami, and we did some overnights there. And so I've done it both ways. So I'm just curious if you're staying on a ship or you're doing some hoteling, then you're meeting the ship again. So that was my reason, the question.
We will have some of those opportunities where it will be part of a overland, you can call it, where there will be opportunity to overnight in a hotel if you wish, as part of a land package within that sailing.
Yeah. We did the one from Dubai to Rome, but we moved out about 5 years ago. So we spent a month traveling on that, and we overnighted in Haifa, we overnighted in Cairo at hotels, and that was a fun experience. So both ways were fun. I was just curious which direction you're taking it. So we've been on your ship many times.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
And Alan has been working with us for some time now. Derek takes really good care of him, hopefully, right, Alan?
we have another big trip for you guys, as you know, for December.
Yep. Yeah.
I run a travel group, so we've got 300 some members in our group.
Yeah. That is true. We one of these days we got to take Nicole up to your community and do a presentation over there. We'll do that soon.
I love that.
Yeah. And Warren was asking what are the special amenities attached to Platinum? Well, he's going to be Platinum next cruise. So what are the when he upgrades to Platinum, what amenities are there?
Congratulations, Warren. So I think the main one that a lot of guests really look forward to at this level is the free custom air service. So when you customize your air, meaning you want to choose your carrier, you want to choose your flights, we provide that service, but there is a $175 per person fee. But at the Platinum level, that gets waived one time. I know you also get a big one is 10% discount on the Regent Choice excursions. So excursions that there's an added cost to. So above and beyond everything else that you get, those are, I would say those are the two main ones.
And Dave Newland is asking a really good question. He says, I receive all the Regent and LCC marketing mailings. It seems like there are always specials going on. Is there any sweet spot you can share? Example, month before the sailing or how far out? When should you book your next Regent cruise? I have an answer for that. I don't know if Nicole, if you want to take it, and then I can pitch in.
Yeah, I will always be an advocate, especially for our brand and the nature of our trends. The further out you book, the better. And if we, for whatever reason, lower the price, we can always retro that. We come out with an offer. But I just feel like the demand that we see in our product, especially if you want a specific category, specific suite, specific itinerary, the further out you book is always going to be better. Remember that the promotions that we come out are on a tactical basis, on where we need the help on. So, and then there's also an important note to remember that Jerod touched upon is that every quarter we're increasing our prices. So the further out you book, I will always be an advocate for that. But Carlos, I'm curious to see how you would answer.
Okay, so I'll say two things. Number one, Dave, you're right. It seems like all the cruise lines are always on sale. And, I'm just going to say something from my perspective. I think that I'm always going to be grateful for the cruise lines for making it that complex and complicated for clients to understand promotions, because that allow us to add some value and really tell our clients what and when and how to get the most value out of your booking. But all cruise lines, and this is just industry wide, all cruise lines are technically always on sale, right? And this is just something that obviously Regent and nobody likes to really talk about, but nobody ever sells a brochure price, right? Every single cruise line out there comes up with the brochure price, which is kind of their highest benchmark, and then They offer, they're always a discount of that brochure price or 2-for-1 or whatever, however you want to slice or dice it. You're right, they're always on sale. The good thing with Regent is that they, and keep me real here, if I'm saying something that is not correct, let me know, interrupt me, but Regent allows for clients to always have a best price guarantee on all those public promotions. Am I correct so far?
Yeah.
Okay. So the straight answer, Dave, is the best time to book Regent is as soon as possible, right? It was yesterday. Because what you get is the best availability, right? You get the opportunity to take advantage of reduced, the pricing before it goes up. You get the opportunity to obviously choose not only the category that you want, but the location that you want. And then you know that if Regent ends up discounting a sailing because it didn't sell at the pace that they wanted to, you can still take advantage of those those opportunities. Now, that said, okay, the stuff that you can't backdate or the stuff that you can't really take advantage of at any time are the promotions like what we are sharing with you today, like the up to $2,000 savings promotion. That is up of what's now, right? The best price right now. And you will not get that all the time. That's not something that Regent advertises or shares with the public all the time. So anytime you see us coming up with this exclusive up to $2,000 discounts, that's something you will never be able to get, first of all, anywhere else, directly with the cruise. You're already taking advantage of the best price that is published with Regent and this very limited time promotion. And this is not like a marketing gimmick or, I can say this because I'm not the cruise line. A lot of the stuff the cruise lines push out look like marketing gimmicks, right? Some cruise lines say up to 70% off. Well, that 70% off brochure price, nobody's ever going to buy brochure price, right? But this $2,000 savings that we're talking about is for real. Like, there's not a marketing gimmick. It's like whatever's published out. Go to Regent7Seas.com, RSSC.com, and look at the price. Take $2,000 off. That's well, depending on the category and length of your cruise, and that's the price. So that's very unique. That for sure is something that if you're looking to book a cruise, take advantage of this because you're not going to have that in 2 weeks from now. And then Alan says, when you say upgrade, is location of each category, or would you be able to upgrade from one level or class to the next class? Example, penthouse to Regent. That's a good question. I think it's important to clarify that, Alan, when if you look at the pricing with this promotion, that price that you see is already the upgrade, the price with the upgrade. Correct, Nicole?
My question really pertains to a lot of times when I've seen promotions, you have normally 3 categories and an A, B, and C. I mean, like on the ships I've gone on, it all depends on location. So when you're saying upgrade, are you saying upgrade from location in that category? Or are you saying you can upgrade from a concierge to a penthouse or penthouse to Regent? That always is sort of confusing.
That's a good question. And I'll take this one. It can be both. So if you're purchasing a penthouse C under this promotion, you'd get upgraded to a penthouse A. But if you're purchasing a concierge D, depending on the ship, under this promotion, you can get upgraded to a penthouse C. So it really depends on, what category you're purchasing and the level of category. So like I said, you're purchasing a C, you get upgraded to a penthouse A. You're still within the penthouse category. That might be appealing to you because you were going to purchase an A anyways, and you like the location of those A's. But then same scenario where you still get that added value where you can go from a concierge to a penthouse suite or a deluxe category into concierge.
I'll add one other thing. We just experienced, we spent a month traveling from Japan to Vancouver, and a couple of weeks before the trip, I got an email from your group saying that there's certain levels available. And we ended up taking the second largest suite on the Explorer, which was really, really nice. In fact, my wife said she'd stay longer, but you were doing dry dock, so we couldn't stay. But those are also opportunities that you guys do offer towards right near the end, if you haven't, to Carlos' number, if you haven't sold out, you can sometimes upgrade then. That's my experience with you guys.
Yeah, those are some nice offers because occasionally we do get some fall off in those higher categories, or there's still some availability. So we send out what's called upsell offers. So a little tip, if that's something that you'd like to take advantage of, make sure you tell your Luxury Cruise Connections advisor, I always want in on this, because the faster that we can get to our inventory department, respond to them, the better, because I know that those are very popular offers that guests like to take advantage of, and a great value too.
Good point, for sure. Thank you, Alan. And Dr. Johnny has had his hand risen for some time. So the doctor, you're still with us?
Yes. Hi. How you doing, everybody? I have actually 2 comments on share my experience. One for Nicole and one for Carlos. Nicole, I would say that I'm an ambassador for Regent. We have an amazing experience with you guys last year. And one thing that it sold me was the care, because you really see the care of the crew when we went to the Navigator, starting on the first day when we arrived. And actually, my younger son lost his luggage, and how they really help us, like port to port, to trying to get it. And not only that, they actually even give us a $500 expenses for the store that make our experience even better. That is priceless, really. You see how care they were with us as a family. And the other thing is, when you're talking about meat and all that, like myself, I'm actually kosher, and the kosher meat on the Navigator was worldwide class. Actually, as good as the best kosher restaurants in the world. Something that I didn't really expect, but it was amazing. For me, really kudos to Regent on that sense. Really, the care that they did with us. Amazing experience. For Carlos, I will tell you that Luxury Connection, it was great. Booking with you guys was so easy that I didn't have to do anything. Just to call my agent, and that's it. And they took care of everything. He took care of everything. And from things like insurance that sometimes we not even think about it, all the way to the booking. The only thing we need to do, honestly, was pay and travel, and that's it. Easy, couldn't be better. I think that you guys, Luxury Connection and Regent are doing a great A team. And really, I'm looking forward to continue with our experiences.
Thank you.
And also, thanks, Samuel. He really helped us with you guys there. And I didn't want to leave without really sharing my experience. I don't know if there are people there that planning to travel. Honestly, it's no other place to go.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for the endorsement. And Robert, you had your hand up for a second ago. I want to make sure I give you the opportunity to jump in as well. You're still with us, Robert Hicks? You want to chime in?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, hi. Hey, honey, we're on the. You'll have to excuse us. We're new at this. I think my wife has a question for you. No, about the airfare. We want to fly. We're going out of Vancouver, but we want to fly in a few days ahead of time to visit my sister. So is that? Can we get? We're concerned about how long it takes to get the airfare because the seats get taken up.
So that would be an air customization, Mr. Hicks, and you can start doing that with us 210 days prior to sailing. So if you were going to detour from the embarkation to disembarkation date, meaning you're going to fly in a couple of days before, the customization fee is $175 per person. And again, you can start doing that. I don't know when your sailing is, but 210 days prior to sailing with your travel advisor.
Okay, that's $175 US, right? I think we were
Yes.
quoted 210 Canadian or something, or 250, I forget. But okay, but you can't get it sooner than that.
At this time, no, the customization process will start at 210. But my advice would be to also play with it in terms of perhaps taking the air credit and seeing if you can do, if it's worth it to do air on your own. That's another way. I know that some, you know, you might want to check with your travel advisor to kind of see what options you have that work best to according to what your needs are.
Air and take the credit.
Okay, so we could buy our own air and take the credit.
That's an option. Absolutely. Just be aware
Okay.
that built into that credit also is transfer credit that you receive. So you would have to, you know, arrange your own transfers, but it's worth taking a look at if you want that control and start doing that if you're further out than 210 days prior.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for that answer.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Thank you.
Robert, we're here for you. Anything you need. I know that I believe you've been working with Derek. So yeah, happy to help in any way we can to make that happen for you. Okay.
Yeah, and Lee.
Lee is very, very nice.
Lee Brink?
Lee.
Is that Lee's last name?
That's not. I don't know. I don't know Lee.
Oh, okay.
But
Derek Cabello?
Derek, yes. Derek
Cabello, okay.
Derek's been
Thank you. Thank you. He's a good man, Derek.
Good.
I think he likes cats.
He is. He's definitely one of our 18 favorite. He's great. He's awesome. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you.
And we have more comments. I have a private comment from Louis. He's asking me who curates your ship library. That's a good question.
Oh, yeah. What kind of library do we have?
That I'm gonna have to get back to you. I am not sure.
I don't know that one either.
Yeah.
That is Louis, we'll get back to you on that answer for sure. I'll have somebody reach out to you with the answer. Count on it. So Nicole, Jerod, if you can help us find out. But guys, I want to just put this in perspective. I know those of you that have sailed on Regent before know this, and those that haven't, you should know. Regent is that cruise line that, you know, like if I have a client that says, I need to make sure that every day when I go to my room, there's fresh milk, not carton milk, but fresh milk in my room. I only like almonds. I don't like any other type of nuts. And if you give us that information, we share that with Regent. This is a cruise line that I know I can trust that will deliver on those very special requests, right? So the reason why I say this is, you know, the details is what really matters to Regent, and that's you know, when you're an avid reader and you know are interested in understanding like what type of books you're gonna find there. I don't know if you guys ever done this, but I wouldn't be surprised if you were to tell me that you could even, you know, find special books for somebody if they're interested in a particular theme and make sure that they have them so that they can read them when they're on board the ship. Like this is without even asking you guys, this is the expectation that I have of Regent. Did I get that right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no request too big or too small. I mean, we will go above and beyond to accommodate any of those special requests that are given to us. I've seen some interesting ones in my days, and they've majority of them all come through. So if it's possible, we will make it happen for sure.
Yeah, I believe that. And then William is asking, does Regent guarantee prioritize nonstop West Coast to Europe flights over presumably coach connections on East Coast? Meaning, I guess let's to kind of rephrase that question. If you're traveling out of the West Coast, will you prioritize a nonstop business class from West Coast over flying domestic to East Coast and then flying over the water business class? It's an interesting question.
We ultimately work off of contracted fares, and we know the nature of our clientele and what they're wanting in their air travel. So we truly try the best to get the most appealing flights, but ultimately what we guarantee with our air program is business class air over the water. We get you to the ship, we bring you back. And while we do our best to get you in business class in those domestic legs, it's not guaranteed. And of course, we don't guarantee single connection or direct flights or that.
So,
And I know I'm being very broad because most of the time it does work out where you have the most appealing flight that you would want, but sometimes it doesn't. So I think it's important to just, really stress on what we do guarantee.
yeah, I mean, look, I think it's important to set the right expectation, right? And I think that you guys are very clear and transparent on what the expectation should be when it comes to airfare. But William, you should know that the intent will always be to over deliver on the expectations, and Regent will do whatever they can to make sure that, if the expectation was that you would fly coach domestically, to surprise you with good news and say, no, like this is all business class. But I do understand what you mean. And most of the times, what I've seen in my experience is clients flying out of the West Coast will have a nonstop business class straight from the West Coast. But airfare has been one of the biggest wrenches thrown at the industry in the last 2 years. And where before I was able to fly to Europe for $2,500 to $3,000 business class, now it's hard to get anything below 5,000 or 4,000. So it's become very unpredictable, I think is the right word. And with so many things happening around the world and so many things changing so often, it's hard for cruise lines to sometimes, it's very costly for cruise lines to deliver on some of these expectations. So I think the best answer is you should expect for that to be the intent, but have your expectations clear and know that it cannot be guaranteed. If that's very, very important to you, again, the best advice is take the air credit, and we'll be happy to customize air for you where we can guarantee business class air from from every single step of the way. And Alan commented, we have been on many cruises, numerous cruises. Each time I have the pastry chef make a special coconut cake for my wife. Always great. So I guess that's a unique, something very particular that you're requesting the chef to prepare for you, that that is being customized for you. So that's great. Wow, great questions, guys. Great questions. We've covered a lot. Did I miss anything? Is there anything else that you guys want to know? Listen, if you have any hard question, here's Jerod. That's what we're bringing for. Ask away. We've really spent a good hour and a half with you guys, and I really appreciate the time, Jerod and Nicole, that you've spent with us. All this information that you've so kindly shared, and the time that you guys have spent really answering questions and sharing all the good news about the future of Regent. I very much look forward to seeing what you guys are going to come up with next. You never seem to stop surprising me, and I know that there is nothing official out there in terms of new ships or anything like that, but I'm sure that as these ships continue to fill, more news on that end will come about, because the one thing I know for sure is Regent is committed to being the #1 luxury player in the market. And I can only imagine you guys continuing to invest in both the hardware, the service, the experience. And I'm honored to be able to partner with you guys and to have the relationship that we have, because it really allows us to deliver above and beyond experiences for our clients. I don't think we have any more questions. So with that, I want to officially thank Jerod and Nicole. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing what you do for us. Thank you for always
Thank
going
you.
above and beyond.
Bye, Nicole.
Thank you, all of you guys, all the guests that join us in today's event, and we'll see you next time. Thank you all.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Great.
Bye, everybody.
Contact us at luxurycruiseconnections.com.